I'm Julia Borsten, and I'm joined now by Whitney Wolfe Herd, the CEO and founder of Bumble, on the heels of their fourth quarter results. Whitney, thanks so much for joining us today. Why don't you first walk through what was going on in the quarter, better than expected revenue, earnings that had an impairment charge. What were the results?
Yeah, so Q4 was a strong finish to the year. Our total revenue exceeded our outlook as well as our EBITDA. And when you look at the EPS, if you take a look in Q4, we took an impairment charge largely related to our decision to exit the Russian and Belarus markets for Badoo. Those had been large markets, so that drove a substantial part of the loss. However, the business remains very profitable on an operating standpoint. We have 25% EBITDA margins, and we've committed to expanding that by a percentage point this year. And we were free cash flow positive for the quarter and for the full year.
So talk to us about your guidance. It looks like your guidance for the first quarter in terms of revenue is better than expected, though maybe earnings guidance falling short of estimates. What is driving your outlook, not just for the first quarter, but also for those full year numbers?
So if you look at the load that the beginning of the year takes from a marketing spend capacity, this is very normal and standard. So we have factored in our guidance for EBITDA for the full year, and we're very committed to that expansion. And so, the spend tapers down substantially after that first quarter. So that's why you see the slightly higher spend in the first Q.
When you look at your stock, it's been on such a roller coaster. It's way down from its peak in August. What would your message be to investors about what you have on the horizon, and whether or not it's worth that kind of decline?
So we are very confident in our business. The demand for love and relationships is incredibly durable. According to third-party data sources, we, as of Valentine's Day, Bumble app was the most downloaded dating app in our top markets. That includes the US, Canada, Australia, the UK, and Germany. This is a strong business with growth, profitability, and candidly, we have a great operating team. Execution is there, and we're very excited about our roadmap in 2023, further committed to leveraging AI and machine learning that we've been doing for so long, but that's going to be a further emphasis in our product, and safety by design, mission by design, staying focused on Gen Z and women. This is how we feel we have such a global opportunity. So that global expansion, we are early in that, and we feel like there's still a long runway, both in our core markets and globally. The TAM for love and connection is massive.
I want to talk more about AI and machine learning, but first just want to get into this question of whether or not, especially in the markets like the US where you've been for a while, whether or not there's going to be a limit to your growth, whether or not the market is too saturated. So curious if you have any commentary on that, the sort of growing saturation of the market in a pretty crowded space, and also whether you think the consumer is going to be resilient. If we do see more inflation, if we do see an economic downturn, how much of this is going to reveal that consumers are willing to pay a subscription service, perhaps, or a premium service for dating?
So let's start with that last piece, Julia. We know that relative to offline dating, our offerings are actually extremely cost efficient. So for 2 drinks at a New York City bar, that's your entire month on Bumble. And the opportunity from a scale perspective, the quantity of folks you have the opportunity to meet for that relative value is actually extraordinary. So we think that this is actually a really effective and efficient trade-off for folks in more economically challenged environments. As we look to subscription versus consumables, every year, so many new folks turn 18, and every year people break up and they look for love again. So the churn is actually not forever. Someone might find love and then they, unfortunately, that doesn't work and they come back. And so we have a spectrum of revenue features. We are looking at that low tier this year for the younger set, for that Gen Z audience who might not want to subscribe to more premium subscription service. And we have consumables, we're testing virtual goods, but our more premium offerings still serve an extraordinary group of people. And when you look at that on a combined and relative value, we think we have a lot of runway. And also the innovation here, leveraging AI and machine learning to get you better matches quicker, faster, safer. There is such an opportunity to continue to deliver on these features that our customer wants, so that shelf that you speculate about really doesn't feel it doesn't feel there.
So talk to us a little bit about AI and machine learning. There's been a lot of conversation recently about how people are using bots, and even in dating, using bots to chat with potential dates. How are you deploying AI and even generative AI, things like ChatGPT, to improve the service? Or do you in any way see it as a threat to the business?
So we're very excited about this. We've actually been using AI and machine learning and data science so deeply in our business for years now. So this is not something we have to hop on the train for. This is really just about integrating it further, deeper. We're going to be leveraging it for safety initiatives to, detect hate speech or bad actors quicker, better, more efficiently. We're going to be doing a lot of interesting things around building confidence. Could you have a chat with an AI bot of sorts and make sure that you understand how to behave kind and politely? So there's a lot of opportunity here. And we are launching our Best Bees offering, which is going to be a paid service, which really leans on machine learning and sophisticated technology to determine who are the best people here for you, curated, highly selected. And so instead of, having a really wide pool of folks that maybe you're interested in some and not the others, this is going to be a highly curated offering, and we're really excited about that.
And so in terms of all of these subscription and paid offerings, how do you see this building out your business over the long term? Do you think there are going to be more things that people can spend money on? And how much do you expect your average member, your average user, to be paying versus using more of a free ad-supported option?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Julia, right now we are a two-tier product, and we do not think that is as wide as we can go. We really take a barbell approach. So the low tier and the premium tier. We think with the quality, high quality user base that Bumble app has, we have a lot of room to move higher up that barbell, to have even more premium offerings in the form of both subscription, but a la carte offerings as well. And then on the other side of that spectrum, really looking at how Gen Z, which is, that young audience right now, they behave differently. They want to express themselves, which is why we're leaning into this low tier offering on a subscription basis, but then really exploring these low tier consumables. So we still feel like there is a lot of opportunity on both sides of that spectrum and also in between.
So as you work to build out more of these paid offerings or opportunities for your members to be spending money on Bumble, of course, there's this question about the advertising business. Advertising is a relatively small but growing piece of your business. How have you seen an ad contraction impact your business? And what is your outlook for your interaction with the ad market going forward?
So we're very fortunate not to be reliant on an advertising model, right? We have obviously tested this to some degree, and it has never been a substantial part of our business because of the strength of our subscription and consumable business. That said, a lot of advertisers and partners are really, really excited about getting in front of this young single audience that both wants to go out and do things and consume things, but also our BFF offering, Julia. This is very interesting. The demand from partners and partnerships for that, platonic friend finding community is really extraordinary. So we do not write it off for the future, but we are very fortunate to be in a different operating model.
BFF has been around for a while. When do you see it really becoming a revenue generating, profitable piece of your business? You said on the call that you could see this becoming a market at the same scale as the dating market, but it seems like we're still a ways off from that.
So friend finding, Julia, is going to be so important for the digital space. And we're very proud to say that we're really the only scaled dating platform that has successfully broken into the friend finding model. And I really attribute that to our safety products and our strong brand moat. As far as revenue, as we said on the call yesterday, we do not plan on, we have not factored any revenue into our guidance for 2023 from Bumble BFF. But as we said, we are going to be testing different models around revenue in the second half of the year, and we're excited to update you further.
And just a final question, as you look forward towards the rest of the year, we talked about the ad contraction that's in the works that maybe you're insulated from, but I guess my big picture question is, what are your biggest threats? Is it price sensitivity among consumers? Is it competition? Is it the idea that people are going to be using bots on their dating platform to talk to other bots and it'll eliminate that personal connection? What do you see as your biggest challenge right now?
Julia, if people start replacing people with bots, I think we have bigger problems, all of us. No, but as far as threats go, listen, it's important to be a healthy level of aware of all of the risks. And I think our biggest risk really is, it sounds silly, but people meeting in the bars and the restaurants, which is why we have pivoted to this IRL feature, this focus on getting people back out there in the real world and helping them meet in real life. And so you might meet through Bumble, but it might not have been on the product. It could have been at a Bumble party. And so I think really just making sure that we are staying current with Gen Z, which we are, proving that we can do, making sure that we stay top of mind for women, and making sure that we rapidly scale. And with all of that, we feel pretty confident.
Whitney Wolford, thanks so much for joining us to talk about Bumble's fourth quarter results. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Julia. Great to see you.